This is the first box I've made with box joints using a jig. I learned some important lessons, which I will share with you as 3 tips, and I uncovered an important secret, which I will share with you. Stay tuned. No, not that kind of jig. So this is the actual box joint jig I use. It's mounted on my router table. This is the indexing key down here, this gold piece, and this is the fence the workpiece will rest against. This one comes with several sizes of indexing key. And so when you want to cut the workpiece, it gets mounted right here and then moves across the indexing key, and you push it forward into the moving router bit. I thought I had measured everything out so that the pins and the notches would be all the same size. However, it didn't work out that way, as you can see from these upper pins. I feel like I should have spent more time tuning the jig. Here's tip 1. Plan on spending some time tuning the box joint jig. I didn't when I worked on this first box here, and it was frustrating. Now that I know that's part of the process, I can set my expectations appropriately. I don't think it will be as big of a deal next time. I had some problems cutting the rabbets for the bottom and the lid. I found that the depth of the cut was impacted by the varying pressure of my hands on the workpiece, and I ended up having to clean that up with sanding. Tip number 2. Cut some pieces of wood similar to the ones that you will be using on your final box. That way you can practice while you're tuning your jig and you won't ruin your final workpieces. One of the unique things about this glue up that is different from other projects I've done is the very small spaces I had to get the glue into. So I got some small brushes to brush in the glue, and that turned out to be a really good idea. You'll notice I'm using Titebond 3 glue. Now it's a good idea when you're gluing these up to keep track of which side is up and which side is down so you don't end up getting it backwards. Then I clamped it up using this 4-corner clamp and glued and then I glued the bottom on and clamped it all up. As you can see here, it's looking pretty rough. And so I scraped off the glue and took it to the sander. I've learned not to worry too much at the beginning stages because sanding and finishing makes it look so much better. And tip number 3, boom. Cut extra pieces of wood to make multiple boxes to take advantage of the time that you took to set up the jig. I decided to keep the finish simple, so I finished it with shellac and applied it with a foam brush. So here's the secret I learned about using the box joint jig. It wasn't as easy as other YouTube videos made it seem. I know, no surprise, right? But I do think after having gone through the process that it's a skill I can work on and I will get better. Here it is. It's all done. Certainly not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with it, as it is my first box made with box joints. And it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be after the glue up. Well, that's my story. I hope that helps you on your first or your next box made with a box joint jig.